everybody. It's Wednesday. Normal stream. Here we are. I have a new flannel. If you're here on Sunday, you've seen the new flannel, but I didn't want my Wednesday crew to miss the new flannel either, so I washed it since then. Hey everybody, I'm Bug. If you're a normal Wednesday person, I've been gone for a little bit, but I'm back now. I was on a little trip for about 3 weeks, and now I'm back home, and I'm here to stream again. I'm here to drink water out of my giant cup. And play songs. I didn't drink the water right. My bad. Nick asks, "Hey Bug, that's a cool cup. Where'd you get it?" Not Pizza Hut, surprisingly. A lot of people accuse me of stealing cups from Pizza Hut. I'm tired of hearing it. I did a really bad job of drinking water. It's betrayed me. My wife gave me my cup for Valentine's Day. And that's a true story. She gave me a whole thing of big cups for Valentine's Day because she knows that I love them. So, all right, try number 2 went well. Here's what I do on my streams. I chit chat, I Q&A, I talk, I play songs. So, what do y'all want to hear first? I normally like to open with a song before I start talking too much. So let's get a song out. While y'all are throwing song suggestions my way, I'll take a little roll call here. That one, Super Cool Tony is here. David Toe is here. Captain Bar is here. Paul is here. My dad is here, which means my mom is here. Carried Coin is here. Why won't it let me scroll? Slimy D Meerkat is here. Nick E, Samantha J, My Stuff. Mars is here. Hi, Mars. Cornfield Cryptid. Tuva what? A lot of good folks. Time Asam is here. Emery is here. X Liver Oogie Boo is here. Gaming Tinker. V and 1 Buildman 24. Someone's asking for Dear McCracken. Has anyone in the chat ever heard of that song? I don't know. I could look it up. I have a spreadsheet of every show I've ever played, but I don't know the number of times I've actually played Dear McCracken on a YouTube stream. It's a very rare play, and it's not. I'm not trying to be withholding with Dear McCracken. It almost never gets suggested. It's weird. It's like a jump scare whenever I see it in the chat. I'm like, oh, y'all know that one? I'm a little out of practice, so whatever you throw at me, we'll see what happens. I haven't played much since my show in early January because I was on a trip for a bit. So, Samantha J, it's the first time watching one of your streams. Well, look at that. Welcome. Plot twist, that's a good idea. What people were saying bragging? People were saying, my dad said that people were saying bragging. Was my dad just saying a lot of bragging, or were people actually asking for bragging? I see 1, 2, 2. Dad, 3, 4. No, that's the same person that said it the first time. Okay, actual 4, actual 5. Okay, yeah, actually, that's enough bragging for me. God, how do you play this one? Is it? Yeah, it's right there. This is a song. I hate bragging, marketing just never seemed intuitive, so I've stayed back and in the past have had nothing to do with it. But people need a map to see what they should give a damn about. To save a forest, you may have to print a couple pamphlets out. Yeah. Oh, this attitude is new to me, but things ain't how they used to be. As soon as we begin to sing, you plug your ears cartoonishly. I check the pecking order well before I cross the road, but either way I go, I always end up feeling like a joke. I mess up all the time, but you are doing awesome, kid. Time to drop the pouty lip and learn to take a compliment. I'm bragging and I'm puffing up my feathers. A chicken with a switch in his position altogether. I'll stick my chest and neck out as I decorate this fairy tale. The color will attract a mate or aggravate the alpha males. So just find a purpose, don't consume. Produce a tune or something new. Use your hands to make a thing that won't exist unless you do. You may not make a masterpiece, get your face in magazines. You won't be the next Newton just by napping under apple trees. And live your life like you're a kid. Paint and dance and play it. If you make a thing, create a bit. You pin that shit up on the fridge. I'm bragging and I'm puffing up my plumage, persuading all the parakeets I'm perfect. But the truth is, my vocab will distract you. You're just baffled. You can talk to me, but don't forget a parrot's only honest as he's taught to be. I always thought bragging was gonna be a bit more of a popular song. Because every time I sing it, I'm like, I knocked it out of the park with these lyrics. What can you do? I might exaggerate to turn it up a notch. You know what they say, give the people what they want. I might exaggerate to try to sound cool. Describe a Shark Tank, we're talking about a kiddie pool. And I'm diving right in it, I am swimming just to make a big splash. Little fish in big pond, little bird in bird bath. I can puff out my chest as I float on my back. I am buoyant, I guess, when I learn to relax. If I'm gonna speak up, then I better impress. Make my diaphragm grow, and my vocal cords stretch, and my voice will get hoarse, but my story will spread like a ponytail told off the top of my head. I'm bragging and I'm puffing up my ego. A penguin playing make-believe but rocking his tuxedo. I'll learn to wing it when I think that plan is going south. No matter what, I'll always try and find something to brag about. Thanks everybody. That is a song called Braggin'. And apparently my dad decided to just randomly type 2 words of the lyrics as I was singing it. And maybe in case I forgot. Thanks, Dad. I got this new tuner, and I just decided right now that I hate it more than anything in the world, because I broke my last tuner coming back from Seattle. I put it kind of loosely in my check-in bag, and it just got jostled around. It got snapped off. So anybody who's used one of these snark tuners before, they're fragile around the little piece. So I ordered a new one, and this one was like, okay, it was like the rough, tough model, but it's also normally these little tuners you take little watch batteries in order to charge them, and this one is rechargeable. You like plug it in with like a USB port, and this is the first time that I'm staring at it, and the battery indicator says there's like 20% battery left, and I'm already like, I hate this tuner, because now this is a chore. I have to like find a charging cable and like charge it, and if it dies, I can't just pop a battery in. I have a million batteries. Famously have not always had batteries at shows, but I pretty much now always do. And I just swap it out. It's easy. This one is rechargeable, so I would have to, like, if it died, I'd have to find a charger, charge it, wait for it to be charged enough. And so yeah, I've already decided that this tuner's not going on the road with me, because that's not possible when you're on stage in front of people. So anyways, that's my tuner story. Um, let's do a little cozy Q&A. This is the part of my stream where I just take questions and talk to you about things and tell you what's going on in my world. So, formulate your questions. Here's what I got going on. Currently, like very, very deep in like hardcore tour planning right now. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I know I've said that a lot over the last couple months, and it's just always true. We have grown in such a way. Last year we kind of tripled our concert attendance, more than we were expecting, and left a lot of people unable to come see shows last year. And so we have kind of entered a new stratosphere of venues and that kind of thing, and it just requires more work. So Time of Someone wants to know what's the thoughts on 2024 for your music. Here's what I'll say. I'd say probably has like a less than 2% chance of me releasing a new album this year, because I just released Happiness in September, and I plan on touring through most of the summer, and that leaves no reason to release anything around that time because I haven't toured Happiness in America yet, and then B, the time I'm touring is me not working on songs and recording them, so that also kind of blocks off the latter 3 months of the year, where that kind of effort would then translate into an album release. But I do plan on releasing songs, not albums. I don't have it in me right now to write an album. It's a lot, but I do have some songs. We over recorded for Happiness while we had the studio time in Seattle last year. We recorded. The important thing to record when you're in the studio is the drums, because it's a monumental amount of effort to set up a drum kit in a room with microphones and record them. I record my vocals mostly at home. I did maybe 6 or 7 of the Happiness songs in the actual studio, but our main focus of that time was the drums. So I know I did Fan Fiction at home. I did Two Bed, Two Bath, and a Ghost was all at home. Bedtime Story, because I hadn't finished the lyrics when we were recording the album. It didn't even have like the bare voices when we were recording the album. So I did all of Bedtime Story at home. Coward, I believe I did half of that. No, almost all of it at home, because I hadn't finished the lyrics of that one either. Anyways, so we over-recorded some drums for about 5 or 6 songs while we were there. Just the songs that I had been working on. I knew they weren't going to be on the album, but I just wanted to get some headway on them. So, I'll probably release some songs because I have them. I have them sitting around. So. Nave wants to know when will we get a U.S. tour announcement? I would say I'm hoping for announcing. Oh God, I would love to announce by April, but there's processes behind the scenes that are out of my control for that. So yeah, hopefully by April. Steven Randall says, can you unban me from the Discord? I swear I'll be a good boy. If you've been banned from the Discord, I don't know what to tell you. You must have done something. Are you going to Pittsburgh again this year? Currently, Pittsburgh is not on our list because here's what we're doing. And last year we did 27 shows. What we did was we picked like 15 of them to do again. These were because they were the largest shows, sold the fastest, had the longest waiting list. So cities like Chicago, cities like Boston, Seattle, where it just we know that we can either reproduce or go much bigger there this year as we did last year. The other half of the shows we are trying to shift slightly in order to kind of maximize. We know when we pick a city in a state, we're not picking the other cities in that state, essentially. And so, for example, we played in Columbus, Ohio last year. We played in Pittsburgh. And so we're trying to find a place in Cleveland, so that it's, if you were at the Columbus show, you might be able to go to the Cleveland show. If you were at the Pittsburgh show, you might be able to go to the Cleveland show. But people who lived in Cleveland who could not, have the means to get to Pittsburgh or Columbus, then they can go to a show. So trying to do things like that. But nothing is set in stone. Even today, I got an email from a venue that moved my day around in Denver, and I'm rerouting, and it added another show. So Luciano asked for Austin, Houston, Dallas. Yes to one of those. We did Dallas last year, so similar idea. We're going to be moving that show to another city. Are you planning on going to Canada? We are not. At least, me and Matt are kind of behind the scenes planning. The goal is for me and Matt to tour again this year. Whether we can or not it's out of our hands. But given the kind of the visa processes of just getting us to a single country, it just becomes infinitely more complicated to get a work visa and then also cross into another country where neither of us are citizens of. And yeah, so yeah, that's it's purely just like country relations and figuring that out. It's just more difficult than we're prepared to do. I will try to come to Canada again. I went to Toronto last year. I would love to do Toronto and Montreal and Vancouver. I know Canadians are very tired of artists saying those three cities. I apologize. Those are the biggest ones, and I have to go where people are. So Bubbles the Blue Fox asks, what's the most fun but draining song to perform live? Interesting. Fun but draining, because I have draining. Take It Back is draining. Would I call it fun? I don't know. Is it fun to play Take It Back? That's a great question. I think it's important to play Take It Back. I feel moved when I play Take It Back, but is it fun? I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it fun. Fun but draining. I would say, anytime we're going to play any high energy song is going to be a little more draining than not, especially if it's a hot venue. Something like Key to Being Lonely or Disco in the Panic Room will always take it out of me if it's warm. So who I'm singing to had to be hard to do live. Yeah, I've only messed it up once. I beefed it in Denver. If anybody was at the Denver show this year, it's one of the only times I've ever messed up that song. Because it's so dense, I always kind of make sure that I know it and have it down. And there was just a lot going on that night where I didn't really have time to prepare ahead of time. There was just a lot of moving parts with people not being there on time and having to stress about that, and so I didn't really have a chance to run through who I'm singing to before I played it, but I wanted to play it and I messed up one of the lyrics. But I've been loving Jam Mechanics. Will we keep getting them on a regular schedule, or will there be a break at some point? Yeah, so Jam Mechanics, if you haven't heard, is a podcast that me and Matt from the Narcissus Cookbook do. We kind of conceived of it while we were in America, driving from Atlanta to Nashville, where for whatever reason, him and I were the only ones driving the van because my dad was with my mom in a different car, and we were just like, we start a podcast, like any two people who talk to each other and think that they're funny, say at some point in their life. And we just ideated on what a podcast would be. We were like, it's not just going to be us talking. we have to do something in order to earn people's listening time. And Matt used to run like song challenge groups. I think they've explained that Apple and Sugar My Coffee are two of their songs that came from writing prompts of just like, hey, we're all going to come back and we'll have a song about an apple, or I think it was a song that only uses 2 chords, to which I said, I didn't know you could use more than 2. And then so we decided we would make this podcast and we would maybe give ourselves like a day or a couple days to like write a song. But then we were recording it. We're like, whatever, let's just like write a demo and just bring it in. And maybe we'll do 6 hours, turn it into 3. That's become kind of our 3 is good. 3 is enough. 6 is not going to improve on it, because you reach a point where you're just like, you need time away from it anyway to make any like kind of improvement. So 6 hours and 3 hours are going to be about the same. 3 hours and then another 5 weeks and then another 3 hours makes a big difference. But so anyways, will we, your question was, will we be getting them on a regular schedule? Yeah, so the episode that's dropping in 5 days on Monday is episode 10 of season 1. It's the last one that we have recorded. So we recorded it early January, and then I've been on a break for a little bit. We were both on a break, Matt working on things, and I was on a trip and working on tour planning. So we're calling it season 1. What we're going to do after this episode is solicit feedback from people, just if they have questions, kind of do like a mailbag episode, as well as kind of showing off some other things, and doing like a episode 11, but it's not going to be a challenge episode. It's going to be more just like a recap, a takeaway episode, and then there'll be some amount of break between when we then start up season 2, which we have ideas for, kind of mixing up the formula. So and VN1 asked, would you ever bring guest musicians on future seasons of Jam Mechanics? I wouldn't say no. I mean, I think it's more, Jam Mechanics is more, you could see it as, this is a podcast and it's a product and we're trying to put things out in the world. So like having another artist come on and maybe do one of the challenges is an idea that would maybe be good for the podcast. But Jam Mechanics is also an exercise for us that we just happen to be recording. So we formalize it around, recording a podcast, but the main thing for us is that we have written a lot of songs. Sometimes you get writer's block, sometimes you can't think of things to write about, and just having someone just kind of come kick down your door and be like, write a song, you have 3 hours, go. Just, it's an easy thing to forget to do when you become a songwriter. Surprisingly, you would think that there'd be a lot of songwriting. It's very little songwriting, and so Jam Mechanics is our way of having that outlet. And so for me, I'm like, why wouldn't handing over the reins of the creative songwriting part to somebody else would be taking away kind of the thing that I am doing it for to begin with. So what we have thought of doing is having different guests on, regardless of whether they're a musician or a songwriting artist, and kind of getting external, like third-party challenges from them rather than challenging each other. So my stuff, my dad already answered for you, but yeah, if you got a little fan art, definitely join the Discord and show it off. Moderately okay wants to know, I'm very confused about this. Why did you make the Bug Hunter shirt? I don't know what you're confused about. The shirt. It's a shirt on a shirt. Yeah. It's a Bug Hunter shirt on a shirt. I couldn't decide if I wanted a breast pocket shirt logo or a full logo, so I put the full logo on a shirt and I put that on the breast pocket. Cool. What's the best business advice you've been given? I've never been given any business advice. I'm just learning it as I go. Cool. Do you have any good business advice? You should learn how to do business before you start a business. It probably would have saved me a lot of time, but fortunately, things are going well. So I can at least do Bug Hunter for the rest of this year. And if y'all come out to shows, if you buy the tickets that I'm hoping that you will, then I'll do it next year too. Yeah, it's kind of a weird spot to be where I'm like, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, the types of venues that we're playing is going to be kind of another step above, and they come at a huge cost. And so I'm sitting here like, hey, if we come back to Denver, the same amount of people at least are going to buy tickets to that show at like a baseline. And hopefully that's true. You don't know until you put them on sale, but at least we found between our London 2022 show and our London 2023 show, there was like a full, it was like, what, 250% increase. Went from like 80 people to 225. So as long as America can do that, like the UK did, that would be great. Bug touring with the Front Bottoms would be insane. That would be insane. The Front Bottoms are a much larger band than Bug Hunter is. So. Cool. Let's do another song. Cool. Why don't y'all throw out suggestions for what you want me to play? Can you do a Surge of Confidence song? I technically can, but I would need the entire, all 52 of you to rise up and revolt in order to make me do it, so. Steven Randell is asking for an Ed Sheeran cover, so I understand why you got banned from the Discord. Sorry, that was a joke. I couldn't help it. I see Making Up Words. I see The Chase. I see Chase. I see Gulf Coast Deserve Me. I see another Chase. Give us a Chase. The Chase. Is this the revolt starting? Did my dad start the revolt? Didn't I just play The Chase like 2 streams ago? Okay. Sherlock's never heard The Chase. It's an old song that I rewrote and is very popular on YouTube and nowhere else. Mary Ann found herself in some trouble. She'd never seen a man that stood so tall. The fact he was so sizable made him too recognizable, and that man, he wouldn't stand for that at all. Trevor never punched his ticket early. Dependable to run 5 minutes late. Today he's bound to beat the clock, and that 4-way stop seems safe to cross. If only he'd been taught to look both ways. There is nothing you can do. I am coming straight for you. Stevie couldn't breathe when he found himself sinking, and Jenny's lucky penny was as lucky as Lincoln. And Austin got lost and never found his way back. And no one trained Janie not to walk on the tracks. Connor got the honor of a statue in the park, a monument to all the monsters lurking in the dark. And some might call it sad, I call it art. There is nothing you can do. Whoa, oh, 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 I am coming straight for you. Wallace, though, he heeded every story. He knew that he was smarter than the rest. He saw the world through window blinds. I'm staying here, I'll be just fine. Until he felt that tightness in his chest. And death appeared before him, staring gravely. Sadder than his average tragic case. This one stayed inside his cage and traded happiness for age. And death was sad, quite enjoys the chase. There is nothing you can do. Whoa, oh, 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 I am coming straight for you. That's a chase for anyone who hadn't heard it. Thanks for the alpaca clap, Mars. Yeah, it's the last song on an album called Surge of Confidence that I released before Bug Hunter was Bug Hunter. And it was weird on that album too. It's kind of a weird one in the discography in general, but I you know, whatever. I've never let anything stop me from writing the song that I wanted to write. So Red Heart Studios says "Holy Bug Nuts," which is I hope it's a Jam Mechanics reference. I hope that's not caught on outside the podcast, but yeah. Paul says, I think I remember you saying you considered it for a Happiness Without a Catch bonus track, and if so, was anything recorded? Great memory, great question. Yeah, so originally Happiness Without a Catch was going to be 10 songs, and The Chase was going to be the 11th. It was going to be the bonus track on the album. That was my understanding when I ran the Kickstarter, and sometime between the Kickstarter and recording the album, I wrote a little song called A Bedtime Story. And I had wanted a song on happiness that went in between Shocking Plot Twist and Alchemical Romance, where I wanted a third kind of story song, Too Bad, Too Bath and a Ghost, Shocking Plot Twist, and then I wanted a kind of a frame story in between those, and I didn't have it. I did have a song that I wrote about two bears arguing about how best to break into a tent, and I was like, what if the bear song is a story? It's a bedtime story between the two characters on this album. And then, so I wrote that song, and then even then, it didn't exist in the form that you know, with the funny bear voices, and the gopher verse wasn't correct yet. So I was like, I'm not happy with this song. I don't think people are gonna like it. And so we recorded The Chase just in case. And The Chase was a great candidate for Happiness Without a Catch, because Happiness Without a Catch is an album where every song on it is meant to kind of represent a different movie genre. So 30 Plan is our time travel, like sci-fi movie. Too Bad, Too Bath and a Ghost is our haunted ghost scary movie. And The Chase kind of acts as a slasher, right? It's like a serial killer going, like I was gonna say Nightmare Before Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's like picking off people one by one, but it's like death. And so it's like thematically it kind of fits. It does say at the very end, this one stayed inside his cage and traded happiness for age, and happiness is the name of the album. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of like cohesiveness where it doesn't fit in the story of what I'm telling of the album, but like it'd be a really cool bonus track. So But then I wrote a bedtime story, and then I improved a bedtime story enough that I was like, this actually fulfills what I want out of that song 6. And so I bumped The Chase off, because albums can't have more than 11 songs, as everybody knows. So yeah. Anyways, what were y'all talking about while I was talking? I know you guys are having a different conversation than I'm having, but moderately okay. I'm surprised that people are finally finding out about the super hipster indie underground album. Oh, we're talking about Surge of Confidence. Yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, Bug Hunter. You have to be pretty locked into the indie scene to know Bug Hunter. To know Surge of Confidence, you have to be another layer deep, Inception wise. So, fan fiction to The Chase would have been a fan fiction One Arm Tug to The Chase. Which early listeners to the album had opinions about that as well. So, yeah. Kaylin says, I cannot imagine happiness without a bedtime story. Yeah, it's become like a staple song of the album. Like, I thought it was kind of like, some people are going to love it, most people are going to kind of bounce off of it, but it's like the second most popular song on the entire album. So, what do you know? Who was the inspiration for the Bear Voices? Was it someone's inspiration or your own idea? No, I knew there was a just empty space there where I was like, maybe I will put maybe I'll have Jesse do like a little banjo solo or something that'll kind of fill that dead space. And then when it became apparent that we weren't going to do that because I was rewriting the lyrics after we had been in the studio, I was like, I have to put something here. And so I just started making silly voices. I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of dark undertones, is the couple in a bedtime story the couple from Platonic Best Friend? Great question. Are they also the couple from Alchemical Romance? Are they also the couple from Robin Bank of Fanfiction? Are they also the couple from Dirty Plan and the whole rest of the album? Maybe, depending on your interpretation. But canonically, yes. If you look at the Deep Blue Ink animated videos, the couple in A Bedtime Story in the tent are the same as that you see the kind of the first couple from Platonic Best Friend. So, yeah. Why is the clock moving backwards? That's a great question. Second reason I'm not feeling this tuner is it led me astray. Oh, now it's blinking that the battery is like almost dead now. It went from 20% to like now it's like blinking. If I was in the middle of a show and this thing was blinking at me like, oh, and it just died. Cool. My review of the titanium snark rechargeable tuner is never in a million years. No, thank you. I'll keep it at home for home related tuning, but what an impractical design. What was I thinking? One super cool Tony's asking about the extended lyrics of Disco. It's nothing. I didn't write any more lyrics for Disco in the Panic Room. I won't spoil the surprise if you ever come to a live show, but I do something in the middle of Disco that's just fun. It's just a little mashup thing that I do, but you're not missing out on anything. Samantha J says, that's a great question. Doesn't answer it. I actually don't know what you're referring to because I am bad about what question did I not answer that I said was a great question that I should have answered. That's my bad. Sometimes I Oh, the clock. Yeah. Yes. It's a backwards clock because it's a reference to Safe Word, a song that I wrote. So Samantha wants to know if I'm going to anywhere in Oregon or anywhere close by. Yes, Seattle for sure, and then looking at Portland, but haven't secured a venue, so we'll see. Portland is kind of weird. I think a mafia runs their booking stuff because here's the weird thing about Portland. I'm gonna go off on Portland as someone who is just trying to like book venues and play shows. There's something that I come across in Portland that I don't come across in any other city, where normally I will just email a venue and I'll say, hey, I would like to pay you money. Can I please pay you money and come use your venue for a show? I'll bring people to your venue and they will be there, and they'll buy drinks and the food or whatever you have. So it's great for you because I bring people. I'm like, I promise you, I will bring 200 people to your establishment, and I'll give you money to do it. Does that work? But Portland, like the main venues around there, they'll be like, just give us your information, and we'll give you a call if we have an opportunity for you. And it's like, I can't plan off of me telling you about my band. Like they'll have like a Google form, like because there's like this one booker running like 4 of like the main venues over there, and there's not like an option just to be like, hey, I have a show put together. They want to know about your band. I'm like, well, it's not just me. It's me and the Narcissist Cookbook. We're trying to plan a show together, and we're the whole bill, But they're like, no, just tell us about you, and then maybe we'll find a lineup for you, and we'll give you a call if it works out. I'm like, why are you being so difficult? So if we don't end up in Portland, just know why. It's just weirdness. I don't know. But no, we do want to play in Portland. If we find something, we'll take it. But like, it's just difficult. So. Do you ever wear your own merch? Yeah. I normally will take the, one or so if I have leftovers from a tour or something like that, where I'll take one of my size and have it around. And the only time I've ever been recognized in public, I was wearing my own merch. Once was on purpose, once was just happenstance. For sure. So Avery Antoinette says, solution, book a coffee shop. That's a great idea. Unfortunately, there's not a coffee shop big enough for the shows we're trying to put on. We're at minimum 200 in Portland, and coffee shops are probably a no-go, unless we want to have a very, very exclusive show that nobody can come to. But we're trying to play for as many people as we can. So society has progressed past the need for Portland. We do need ports still, I believe. I'm having to tune my guitar on my phone like a cave person. Phones never die. That's the nice thing. Captain Barr wants to know, are you planning to release videos from the UK live show? I absolutely am. I have a weird synchronization issue on my end, and I've been looking forward and booking shows the last like week, so I haven't had time to work on it. I do have a funny Portland story. It's not that funny. I just more just me making fun of my brother, where we were talking about Portland, and he was like, "Is Portland on the water?" And I had to be like, "Say the city name very slowly." So, if y'all ever see my brother, tell him I threw him under the bus on a live stream. My dad brings up the point. Portland has Voodoo Donuts. Unfortunately, they've exported the Voodoo Donuts in the Nashville airport. Another funny story. So there's a Voodoo Donuts in the Nashville airport, and I've been going in and out of the Nashville airport a little bit over my travels in the last little while. And I was going through me and my wife's kind of credit card, just our finances. I was like, what are all these like $2 charges at the Nashville airport? Did we like pay for parking? Like what did we do? And I was like, oh yeah, I get a donut every time I go to the Nashville airport now. So did my stupid thing do that thing with the, if I do a thumbs up for some amount of time, it'll like, yeah, I don't know. Can't turn it off. I tried. Yeah, so now that Portland doesn't have the monopoly on Voodoo Donuts, we can skip them. Favorite Voodoo Donut, I still just get the maple bar. I don't know. So part of Voodoo initially was like, look how many crazy donuts there are. But now I'm like, you know what? They kind of made the best donut, and then they kept going, but they didn't have to, you know. Cool. What time is it? Cool. Time for one more song is what time it is for. Nora Jones just announced a concert near me. I don't know why that was suggested. I don't know if I've ever listened to Nora Jones before, but got that email. And the Chase Part 2. Just start naming more names. All right, let's see what you got. Will you play Memories from the podcast? I don't know if I remember how to play it. I don't even know. Was it Capo? Oh, I played on my ukulele. That's why this feels. These are the details. These are the memories. These are the moments always cut from documentaries. These are the details. Something like that. If you haven't listened to Jam Mechanics, there's a little preview. 9 more songs you can go listen to right now if you want to sit through minutes of me and Matt having a good old time. The Opera was such a good song. Yeah, that was episode 8. Yeah. The curtain drops, the camera stops. Those were the lyrics, weren't they? I wrote that song in December, so. Yeah, let me just play little bits of Jam Mechanic songs. Bedtime Story. We'll do the bear voices. Yeah, I can't do the bear voices by myself. They overlap too much. Oh, that's nice. Moderately Okay says, I want Headlights to be recognized as the masterpiece it is. That's really nice of you. I feel like Headlights, when I wrote Headlights, I felt like I had finally written like a song. You know, it was like the 50th or 52nd song that I wrote. Because I obviously keep track of that kind of thing. And it was the first time I was like, no, wait. This one is like actually a song. And it's the only Surge of Confidence song that has made it into the Bug Hunter era. So, hey Uguay, you're very late. You're at the last 5 minutes, but that's okay. Somebody has to join the last 5 minutes, and it's you this time. So, someone's been asking for pine cones quite a bit. I feel like I haven't played that in a long time, so y'all know what to do. Hands up if life is getting stressful. For me, remembering what that chord was going to be. And shout if you are saddened by the news. Woo! I need some tips to cope, some data, or some anecdotes, because right now nothing's working for my blues. Yeah, I know this song. Sometimes I deal by playing music, and sometimes I relax by reading books. Sometimes I go downtown, climb a tree, and don't come down and throw a bunch of pine cones at people. A crowd is formed around my tree, just out of reach, and the police have blocked the street on every side. On every side. But no one can climb it, and I think it's cause they know I have a pine cone here for everyone who tries. I'm gonna live to be 100. I'm gonna see them cure disease. And I'm gonna wash them in the war over the royalties. So if you need me, I'll be in the tree. Yeah, if you need me, I'll be in the tree. There's several cameras pointed up into my tree. It seems the world's concerned with what I might do next. Throwing pine cones at photographers from up here in this conifer, like Tarzan getting scouted by the Mets. Yeah, I'm gonna live to be 1,000. Got robot arms and run on robot feet. Got robot legs and robot head. My robot ass don't know it yet, but I'd be better off back in the tree. So if you need me, I'll be in the tree, cause no one's asking what would drive me up this pine. Is it protest? Am I being paid to preach or advertise? No. This non-deciduous decision was all mine. You can show a horse the ropes, but no, you cannot make him climb. And this tree's a makeshift metaphor, and I prefer to think I'm just a stressed out Christmas ornament who needs some space to breathe. And if the camera crews and crowded streets and dozens of police are my endless pressures manifested down below my tree, then this giant stack of pine cones, they are the lame and immature ways I deal with them. But also how satisfying it is to do so, to don't one when they're not looking. Yeah, I'm gonna live to be 1,000,000, longer than the flowers, birds, and bees. But if I start to come undone, make like a tree and hug someone, yeah, everybody needs some space to breathe. Just recognize when it is time to leave. I'm probably gonna live forever. Should I die, and that may be preferred, take me out and bury me and plant a tree right over me, so I may help someone escape the world. Yeah, I may help someone escape the world. Thank you for the alpaca clapper. That'll probably be the last song I'm going to play. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes. One thing I did want to get into really quickly, I'm very excited about, is March Madness is a couple of days away. And so we are going to be doing it again. If you have been in the bug hunter world for at least 2 years, you might remember that I used to every year in March do a bracket of all the bug hunter songs. And I said I did it in 2020, and then I did it again in 2021 because Bigger Than Myself had come out, and then I did it again in 2022, basically removing the winner each time. So first one was Dear McCracken, second one was Disco in the Panic Room, third one was Take It Back, and then we've released a new album since the last time we did it. I felt like there wasn't a huge reason to do it in 2023 because I knew new music was right around the corner, so I just skipped it last year, but it's coming back this year in a big way because we have Happiness Without a Catch. We got to see where all these songs land in bracket world. So it'll be a voting thing that y'all get to decide who moves on and who doesn't. So there's voting on Instagram, like Instagram stories. It'll be like one of the avenues, and then on our website. Still trying to figure out what that third one is, but just in case there's a tie. So here's what I wanted to tell y'all before I go, because we're gonna do a 32 team bracket, but there's 44 songs. If you know that we have 4 albums, 11 songs each. So what we have to do is we have to have a play-in round of basically 24 songs to then eliminate 12 immediately, and then we can have our 32 team bracket, and we'll do one vote a day. So I was going to let y'all know ahead of time just to be prepared. That preliminary round, we're going to have to do it before March. So somewhere at the end of February at some point, we're going to have to get rid of 12 songs. Here's the matchups that I have for these initial 12 votes. First one is $ Sax versus Listen to Your Mom. We have Go With The Flow versus It's Alright. Headlights going up against Hold Tough. Then we have Magic 8 versus 30 Plan, which I don't know what's going to happen there. We have Gulf Coast versus Sweet Nothin'. Piano Teacher versus Try My Best. Who I'm Singing To versus Coward. And then we have Hide and Seek versus Platonic Best Friend. Waving Goodbye versus Slow Burn, which both of them kind of like in my head exist in a very similar space. Creature of Habit versus One Armed Hug. Baby Teeth versus Yes or No, and then Boogie Pete versus Echoes. So if you didn't hear a song called out of those, then they're automatically in the bracket. There's some interesting matchups here. It's very fun for me to see the new songs in the bracket, thinking of like, okay, will 30 Plan beat Magic 8? Or will it not? Or will Who I'm Singing To beat Coward? I really don't know what's going to happen there. Either I have no idea. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens. So yeah, Whomston Coward is the one I'm looking at very, very intently. Yeah. Why is 30 Plan in the lowest? It's because there are 24 songs that had to go in a playoff, and it's not in the top 20 songs of Book Hunter. So at least for the rankings that I did, which I used a lot of the data from the house quiz, which you could take right now. You don't even have to wait for Match Madness. You ever heard of Match Madness? It's a cool thing we're doing. March Madness. You can go to our website if you want to do the house quiz, and it's a randomly created bracket, so it has no bearing on the March Madness bracket, and it has like you pick 1 out of 3 in the first round. Yeah, and you can figure out what house you're in. You're either in Theory Deer, a Toddler with a Slingshot, or Cozy Astronaut. Those are the 3 Bug Hunter houses. Cozy Astronauts like things cozy and slow. Toddler with Slingshot, all kinds of just gremlin energy. And Theory Deer, as in I have a Theory Deer. The Theory Deer is one of our favorite mascots, and that's for the more kind of just like introspective and thoughtful songs. Those are the 3 houses. See which one you are. Join our Discord. You can take a roll that makes you either purple or blue or orange. Cool. So that's coming up around the corner. The play-in round is not going to be very formal. I might just do that on Instagram and just all in one go. Hey, everybody, vote and just make the bracket. So be on the lookout for that. Luckily, February has an extra day this year, so it gives me a bit more time to prepare. And we do a postcard of the day. Is this today's? I don't even know if it's sold yet, but today the 21st, sure is. Today's postcard of the day, which I do one every day, is but you always called this robbing the bank, which I always thought was so dramatic. and fun. That's for fan fiction. One of the very few songs that name drops a different song in it. Only one person can get it, and it could be you. So, yeah, that's today's. Check every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's when the new postcard of the day pops up. So, cool. Paul says I got theory dear, despite being incapable of introspection. The quiz knows. So, the quiz knows. The quiz knows in the subway. That's all I have to say about that. So okay, I'm gonna go before. The quiz knows is just, that's very funny. I didn't mean to make that joke, but that's the new. I'm gonna put that as a tagline underneath the quiz on my site. Hey, the quiz knows, and nobody will know what that means. So. Join our Discord. I have a show in Richmond. If you wanna see me live, that's the next thing that I can promise is happening. We're gonna tour this year, regardless. But if you want to be sure of it, and you're anywhere near the Richmond, Virginia area, we still have about 20 tickets left to the good old show that we have there. It's gonna be a small one, very intimate. But yeah, I'm playing all of Happiness Without a Catch in order, and then brief intermission. And then I'm opening for myself. I'm going to do another set and then play just more kind of like, Dear McCracken and the songs from the other albums too. So, yeah, would love to see you there. It's gonna sell out. So there's no chance it won't. It's a month from tomorrow. And, yeah, I've been doing this long enough to know how ticket sales go. And this one won't make it to day of. So, cool. Everybody, thanks for hanging out tonight. This is super fun. I look forward to these streams. I have a relationship with these streams where I look forward to them, and then when I wake up and realize I have to do one that night, I'm like, no, I gotta do a stream tonight. And then, because I just have to plan around it, where I'll be like, oh yeah, I wanted to play a board game with my wife, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta do the stream. But then when I do it, I'm always like, this is a great time. This is so fun, and it makes me feel like I'm performing without actually going somewhere. So, cool. With that, goobers, go to bed.